guy named Diddley had a dream so big it made him feel all giddy. He loved UFC, the fights and the thrills, so he started a podcast to share all the chills. Oh, Diddley's on the mic with the final strike, talking UFC, NFTs all night. From the octagon to the blockchain, he's got the hype. Tune in, listen up, it's the final strike. Every punch and kick, analyze the moves, every trick and flick, comparing each fighter, their strengths and flaws. Diddley's insights would leave you in awe. Oh, Diddley's on the mic with the final strike, talking UFC, NFTs all night. From the octagon to the blockchain, he's got the hype. Tune in, listen up, it's the final strike. Every punch and kick, analyze the moves, every trick and flick, comparing each fighter, their strengths and flaws. Diddley's insights will leave you in awe. Oh, Diddley's on the mic with the final strike, talking UFC, NFTs all night. From the octagon to the blockchain, he's got the hype. Tune in, listen up, it's the final strike. NFTs and fighters, a digital blend. Diddley's got the scoop, he's always on trend. From rare collectibles to the latest bout, the Final Strike podcast, there's never a doubt. Listeners from afar, they gather around for Diddley's insights, the best in town. With every episode, his fame would grow. The Final Strike podcast, the ultimate show. Even when the market's tough and times are lean, Diddley's resilience shines, he's always keen. Through highs and lows, he stands his ground. In the world of UFC, he's renowned. Oh, Diddley's on the mic with the final strike, talking UFC, NFTs all night. From the octagon to the blockchain, he's got the hype. Tune in, listen up, it's the final strike. Podcast stream, bringing UFC and NFTs to the mainstream. With every word, he lights up the night. The Final Strike podcast shining so bright.
What up, everybody? Happy Saturday, and we are back. Finally. Last pay-per-view of the year. It's a big one. It's a big one. What's up, everybody popping in? Thank you guys for hanging out this fine morning, evening, wherever you're at. Appreciate you hanging out. Don't forget to hit the thumbs up on the video. We do have a couple giveaways today. We'll start it off with TFSP in the chat. We're going to do a mic drop for the first one. So we'll do the pack first, and then we will run that pay-per-view code later on in the show. So make sure you hang out and stick around. Yeah, the card's pretty stacked, man. Prelims are pretty nasty. We're going to go through the whole thing today. Some interesting ones for sure, man. I'm looking forward to it. Thanks, everybody, for popping in. Appreciate you guys. Got all the TFSPs coming through. Thank you, thank you. And don't forget to hit the thumbs up. I'm going to pop my screen up here. We're going to talk strike real quick, go through this challenge, talk about some of these rewards we recently got, some outstanding rewards we are still missing, and then we'll get right into that fight card. But we'll keep it as brief as possible here because that card's nasty, and there's a lot of tough ones to call, bro. There's a lot of tough ones to call for sure. Oh shit, yeah, I gotta get the DraftKings cooking. I'll get it up. I'll get it up right after the show. Thanks for the reminder. All right, so we had this challenge pop up for UFC 310. It's a multi-challenge event. Not too bad. Weidman is the reward for the big challenge number 1. It's a pretty tough challenge, actually. We'll get right to it here. There are 2 total steps required in order to complete this challenge. Step 1 is the results-based portion. And based on the outcomes of the fights today, you will either have to burn or collect these moments that are listed here. And a couple of them that could get interesting. You got Shavkat versus Ian Gary. They are definitely fighting each other, so one of those will most likely have to get burned. Most likely have to get burned. Next one, these 2 guys are also fighting each other, Cyril Gane and Volkov. So one of those guys will probably have to hit the incinerator as well, based on the outcome of the fight. You will have to collect the other one, so you might have to burn one or the other and then just hold the other guy. These 2 guys are fighting each other as well. So you got Anthony Smith going up against Dominic Reyes. Both of them have rares, and one of them is got to go after the fights. And then one more. We got Clay Guida versus Chase Hooper. They're fighting each other. And Chase Hooper is an uncommon. Guida is a rare. But one of those guys will have to get burned as well. And then also in the pack, we have Luque, who is fighting Themba Garimbo. And then we also have Chiesa. He is fighting Max Griffin. So those guys don't have moments, I don't believe. So we'll see. We'll see. We'll see what happens. So that's the first part. Can't really do anything until these fights play out tonight. But it's going to be interesting to see. Some of these could get kind of spicy. This Gary Rare could get spicy if he has to get burned. The Gane Rare could get spicy if he has to get burned. Let's see. Dominic Reyes. Nah, shouldn't be too bad. That fight shouldn't be too bad. The Smith-Reyes fight. The Guida could get nasty. The Guida could get nasty because that's an old one. Chiesa could also get nasty if he loses to Max Griffin. So it's going to be interesting. It's going to be real interesting to see. Yeah, Luque too, if he does lose to Themba. But there's a few. There's a few that could get pretty spicy based on the results of the fights. So good luck, everybody. And those of you who are trying to keep your sets intact before the end of the year, it's a pretty tough challenge right here, depending on how these outcomes come out. So we'll see. That's step 1. Step 2, on top of whatever you have to burn or collect in step 1, you will have to burn the following 4 moments. You have a Damian Maia uncommon, Gary common, Gane common, and Bruno Silva common. So 3 commons and 1 uncommon there. I think Maia's not too expensive. He was more expensive yesterday, but looks like everything's come down. Gary's $3. That's a series 0. Cyril Gane is $3. That's a series 0. And Bruno is $1 as a series 1. But I know Bruno's been burned a lot. He's got 4,500 burns. He's got burned a few times, so he's still at $1. Which brings us to the next portion. If you have these 4 champions, so all 4 of these guys are fighting on the card. If you have a Cyril Gane champ or an Aljamain Sterling champ, you automatically complete the burn criteria for step 1, meaning whoever loses, and if their moment was one of the moments of the person who lost, that has to get burned. If you have either Cyril Gane or Aljamain Sterling, you're all good. You don't got to burn anything, but you got to make sure you collect everybody else. For Anderson Silva and Alexandre Pantoja champion holders, you will automatically complete the collect portion of step 1, and you will still be required to burn anybody who loses on this list. No matter which 4 of those champions you have, you will still be required to complete step 2 and burn those uncommons and commons right here. So Yeah, it's pretty interesting challenge. The reward itself, it is Chris Weidman KO of Mark Munoz way back when. And it is going to be minted to a minimum edition size of Epic. So if we don't hit the 100, they're still going to mint 100. Father Figure got Lucky, Holden, Sterling, and Pantoja. Very nice. Very nice. Chilling. You're chilling. Just got to burn those commons and the one uncommon, and you're golden. Very nice. Very nice. Yeah, Munoz definitely a legend. But I don't know, man. I don't know if how I feel about a Weidman moment, especially as an epic. Granted, former champ, he's fighting here, but he's definitely at the tail end of his career. Yeah, not sure how I feel about the Weidman as a reward choice personally. But that's the reward. The second challenge this week, similar to the first challenge, but with lesser priced moments, mainly commons that we're dealing with on the second challenge. Weidman is a Hall of Famer. Weidman is a serial eye poker, brother. Serial eye poker. Talk to Bruno Silva about Chris Weidman. He's going to have very, very different thoughts about Chris Weidman. Oh, shit. But second challenge, same situation. If the guys win, you got to hold the moment. If the guys lose, you got to burn the moment. A couple guys who are fighting each other on this list are just Randy Brown and Brian Battle. So that one within that fight, you're definitely going to have to burn or hold one of those. You got the Shavkat common, Bryce Mitchell's common, Aljo's common, and Chase Hooper's common, all on that top list. You do have to also, okay, so this one, sorry guys, you have 3 different paths here. So you get 3 paths. So if you do the results-based path by holding and burning based on the fight results, you get 1 reward here. If you have Volkov fandom, Mitchell fandom, and Kennedy's common, you automatically qualify for 1 if you do path number 2. And then for the champ passes, we circle right back to those 4 in the previous challenge. If you have any one of those 4 champs, you automatically complete one of these challenges as well and get a completion. So you got a couple different ways to get this. The champ club passes. If you hold 2 or 3 of these each, you get multiple completions. So this could, you could, burn multiple times and hold multiple commons here to get a second completion. And the reward will be Nate the Train, baby. Nate the Train. Nate the Train. Gotta love me some Nate the Train, baby. Dude's a stud. And it's going to be minted to a minimum edition size of uncommon 1,000. But I'm a fan of Nate the Train, baby. Hell yeah. Nate doesn't have a moment. Let's get him on the platform. Let's do it. Let's do it. I like when fighters get a moment, somebody that's, it's been kicking some ass lately, making some waves, getting some big finishes, not somebody who's like about to retire. But the challenge does end now. They're doing these Wednesday end dates. So the challenge ends on Wednesday, December 11th at 11 a.m. Pacific time. So make sure you get your burns done, all that stuff done before that. And on Tuesdays is when they started doing the snapshot. So we'll have kind of an idea on what the mint counts are looking like officially on Tuesday. But that's the challenge this week. Not too bad. Not too bad, guys. Structure is pretty good. I like the Nate the Train reward. Structure here is excellent. Love the structure on the first challenge, but I think we could have maybe gotten a different reward. But that's just me. Would have liked to see, somebody on the up and up versus somebody on the way out. On to the next strike business. let's just go quickly through some of these recent rewards we got. So we did get airdropped a boost, sitting at $10. Strike is holding about half of those, so we might see those come out. Maybe year-end reward pack, stuff like that. Not too many listed either, but boost is sitting at $10. Not too bad. Few sales, but not bad. Not bad for uncommon, the uncommon for now, but we'll see how the rest of those trickle out here and how that affects his price. Next one was Roundtree. Roundtree minted to 137, sitting at $128. Few of them have sold. There's a few that sold a little higher, 170, 175, because he got up to about 200. But after some of these last challenges with the burning champs and stuff, things kind of flipped. People started getting rid of epics and started looking for champs, and the market kind of did a little switcheroo, a little bit. Just because with this champ burning element involved, it's a little tricky out here. So Roundtree, not too bad. 137, one of those low ones. If it gets used in the challenge, could see some nasty movement, but we'll see. Next one was Whitaker. Whitaker, this is the bottleneck of the set, of the epic set. Really depending on this moment here that we just talked about, this Chris Weidman. If Chris Weidman doesn't make it, he might tie Robert Whitaker because they're definitely going to mint a minimum of 100. But Whitaker's sitting as the bottleneck right now of the epic set, which is why his price is as high as it is at 375. Strike is holding on to 6 of those. So 6 of those were left over. We only had 94 people complete this bad boy. So the other 6 are in reserves, probably be in some reward packs, maybe, I'm guessing, Q4. But it's a nasty one to have, and could, after this challenge this week, probably more than likely will finish off, maybe if they end Series 2, as the Series 2 bottleneck epic moment. And the last one that we had released was Marab's champ. And I don't know about Marab, guys. This champion's not too hot. I think, personally, my personal opinion is hasn't been too many sales on it. $499, $425, but he's sitting at $350. Few of them listed. But personally, I would have liked to see more of the sphere screen in the cut of this moment, because you get pretty much all the crowd angles. You don't get a lot of the back view of the sphere, the screen behind them. You don't see any of that kind of in the cut of this moment, which I wasn't too happy of. The thumbnail's awesome with the screen in the back, but like, I haven't seen the sphere screen once here. We got the kisses. There they are. But where's that screen, baby? That's what it's all about. That's what made the sphere the sphere. Still waiting on that screen. Where is it at? Because we definitely saw it on, like, on the broadcast, You get a little screen here. But not much. And that's a wrap. That's a wrap, right? Yep. We got about 6 seconds left here. Still waiting on the screen. Nope. But you get that thumbnail. Come on. I think that's why maybe a lot of people started listing this bad boy, to be honest. Maybe they had some higher expectations. Especially, I don't know, for those of you that went there live, I'm sure you would have probably preferred to see it. And yeah, I mean, there was definitely some crazy images. I mean, we saw it from the broadcast booth. You could only imagine what it looked like, down right by the octagon, staring with that stuff in the backdrop. It would have been nice to see a few shots of that, maybe, or even like before the moment starts, or like right in the beginning. You know how they panned around in the stadium? Maybe did a little panel of the sphere before they get into the highlights of the moment. You know what I'm saying? Because it was a one and done. Would have liked to seen more of it, but that's just my take. My opinion. Don't know if anybody agrees with me or not, but it seems like a few people agree. Well, yeah, at least we got some kissing action. That's right, Richard Hart. You got a few Marab pecks on O'Malley's back there, but that's pretty much it on the strike side of things. But with that said, I will quickly go over what we have outstanding. So we are still waiting on quite a few moments here, guys. So we have Jim Miller's epic. We're waiting on. DC's champion moment. We are waiting on. Jonathan Martinez is uncommon. We are waiting on. Rinya Nakamura's common. We are waiting on. And then we are also adding to the list now Weidman's epic as well as Nate the Train's uncommon. So that is 6 total outstanding rewards after the challenge this week ends. 4 being part of challenges that have completed previously. And that's pretty much what we got for strike. Between Marab's no sphere screen and Roundtree getting his arm clipped out of the moment editing has been pretty mid. Yeah, I agree. The last few, man, have been a little sketchy. We'll see how this these next ones come out. That DC champ's going to be interesting. It's going to be very interesting to see. Very interesting to see. But with that said, I believe we have a pack to run, guys. Get your TFSPs in the chat because we're going to run this mic drop base pack. What's up, Icy Bids? Welcome, man. TFSP in the chat. We're about to run a pack, a mic drop pack. There you go, baby. Let's get it. Don't forget to hit the thumbs up on the video, everybody. Get your TFSPs in the chat, and we are going to run this bad boy right now. Good luck. In 3, 2, 1. Here we go. Winner of the mic drop base pack is John Park. John Park cooking a mic drop. Congratulations, brother. I'll let Alex know you won, and he usually sends those Monday, Tuesday after the fight card. So congratulations, bro. Congratulations. We'll tee up the pay-per-view code right now. We'll do 310 in the chat. Get your 310s in the chat. It's going to be for a UFC 310 pay-per-view code. And it's for ESPN Plus. US only it works. Good luck, everybody. And with that said, we're gonna get right into this fight card, baby. It's gonna be nasty. We're gonna go through the whole thing, the entire card from start to finish. And we are gonna start all the way down here. Our first prelim of the night features Kennedy Nchekwu. And this guy has been like a co-main. This guy has been, definitely on main cards, whether it's the 3rd slot, 4th slot, multiple times. This guy is the first fight of the card. The first fight of the card. What's up? What's up? Just type 310 in the chat, brother. Just type 310 in the chat. Welcome. And yeah, man. Kennedy going up against Lucas Brisky. First up on the card. Pretty crazy. Kennedy's been, I mean, he had his first fight at heavyweight last time out. He looked pretty good, man. He looked pretty good. He looked solid. Because, you know, you never know when guys move up to heavyweight if they're going to look a little chunky or whatever. But Kennedy looked solid, bro. Looked like it was the right weight class for him. 205 was probably killing him to make that weight. And honestly, I've watched him live. When he was fighting at 205, he lost to Dustin Jacoby, I think, at UFC Nashville. And he just seemed like a step slow at 205. Then when he had that fight, his last fight, even though it was against Chris Barnett, he just looked like he had some good speed on his punches, his kicks. He looked healthy, you know. He looked healthy. But he's going up against Lucas, but I don't think Lucas really possesses anything crazy in terms of like, because Kennedy is a little chinny. We've seen him get rocked a few times, but I don't think Lucas got that kind of power or really the skills, especially because Kennedy has a crazy reach advantage in this fight as well. So I think Kennedy probably gets this one done inside the distance. And keeps. I mean, he's a minus 600. A lot of gambling people are staying away from this fight because the odds are so bad. But yeah, I think Kennedy. I think he's gonna get it done. Faux show. Next up, tough one here. Clay Guida versus Chase Hooper. Man, oh man, 43 years old. Clay Guida going up against Chase Hooper, bro. Chase Hooper's been looking really good. His striking's been coming around pretty well. He's looking on a pretty good run since he's been at 155. Looks like it's probably the right weight class for him. He's put some muscle on, and he's had some success there, you know, especially when it comes in grappling, in terms of grappling. Guida, obviously, we know this guy. He's got a gas tank for the most part. He's a great wrestler, but depends. I mean, I know Guida does like to mix everything up, so I could see him maybe shooting a takedown and maybe ending up in a subby or getting caught in a subby by Hooper. I think that would be most likely the scenario. Well, we're talking. The question is, does Chase Hooper have that man strength yet? I don't know, bro. But we know Guida's got that Gramp strength. He's got that Gramp strength. Yeah, but yeah, he does look good, bro. He looks good. He looks good. But it'll be interesting. He has been susceptible to submissions. He's got a huge height and reach disadvantage here. Could be a tough night in the office for Clay. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie. And they got Chase Hooper at minus 1,300. Which is insane. And yes, that's another point. Hooper did sub him already in Fury Grappling maybe 3 years ago. So if it does hit the ground, which it probably will, you got to think it will at some point, being a dominant wrestler here and a guy who likes to search for subs on the ground. You got to think it's going to end up on the ground at some point. And I kind of feel like Hooper's going to have the advantage, or at least, you know, the offensive prowess down there to make things a little hectic and, you know, maybe even gas out Clay. You never know, because fighting for your life against submissions is no easy task for sure. But I am liking the younger Hooper, especially with that size and reach advantage. I think he'll probably find some kind of choke sub. They got his sub at minus 135. But could go to points too. Could go to points because we all know Guida's a dog and he doesn't quit. So should be interesting. Should be interesting. Passing of the torch type of fight. I like it. Next up, Chiesa versus Max Griffin. Very interesting one here. Initially, I believe Max Griffin was the favorite, but the line kind of shifted to Chiesa. And I think for good reason, you know. He's really good submission grappler. great on the ground. Max Griffin's not that well versed on the ground. Max is very powerful. He does throw pretty, pretty big hammers, for sure, especially early in the fight. But I think if Chiesa can weather that storm, he should be all right. And one thing to know, Chiesa's never been finished by strikes in his career. So he's pretty durable in that sense. He's gotten subbed a few times for sure, but if you put these guys on a mat, Chiesa's going to sub Griffin out probably 8 out of 10 times, or it's a stalemate. But yeah, it's an interesting one because I do think if Max Griffin can cause some chaos early in the fight, he definitely has a chance, right? Anybody's got a striker's chance for sure. But I think I'm feeling like Chiesa can probably weather that storm. And if it goes into the second round, maybe Griffin does have a good first round. Chiesa comes out second round as maybe a live dog. That's when you smash it, possibly. And then makes it a grappling match and ends up submitting this guy in the second or third round. But they got his subby at plus 375, points plus 170. I am liking Chiesa, honestly, especially because he's never been knocked out in his career by strikes. And that's really where Griffin's going to only have his chance of success against this guy. If he was a little bit more chinny, I would have liked maybe Griffin a little bit better. But like I said, he's very durable. And if he needs to get the fight to the ground, he probably will. And eventually we'll find something. I'm rolling with Chiesa. There's 5 early prelims, guys, so it's pretty wild. And they're all insane fights. Insane fights. We got another banger. Cody Durden versus Joshua Van. How much has Joshua Van fought in the last 6 months, guys? This guy is like in the octagon every week. July, September, and December. Every 3 months, this guy's in there, baby. I like it. I like it. Did lose to our boy Energy, but did come back and won a tough fight against Shirez. Very tough fight. Some people thought it might have went the other way, but it was a tough fight. It was a good fight, and I think it was a good learning experience for Van, managing that gas tank too, because that's kind of where he lost the energy. But he's an offensive wrestler. He's gonna try and wrestle this guy early, but he does tend to wrestle himself out of gas in his fights. Has happened plenty of times. So I'm not too sure. I'm not too sure on how well Van is going to do, especially as a smaller dude. Durden, he might land some takedowns, but it's going to be interesting to see how much he could control Van down there. Van's pretty explosive, very athletic. The odds makers are favoring Joshua Van in this fight. It's tough. It's a tough one. I think it's definitely more of a pick'em fight. I do not think this fight will go the distance. I definitely don't think it's going to go the distance. And I think Joshua Van is going to weather that storm of Cody Durden. First round and a half, 2 rounds, where that wrestling is going to be coming in bunches. And maybe find some success as the guy's entering with the takedown. Not as he's entering with the takedown, maybe find some success with the uppercut, knee, something up the middle. But I think Van, he's pretty dynamic. He's a dynamic striker, and I think he's learned a lot his last few fights, and I think he'll keep it going and get this W here against Cody Durden. Van gonna hit him in the plan. Going against the odds. Let's go, Clay. Yup. Here we go. Here's our boy. This fight was scheduled to be a couple weeks ago. It was moved to this fight card. Eric Anders, I guess, had like food poisoning or something. Had to pull out of the fight the day of. So they rescheduled it, and here we are. But now it's at a catch weight. It's not at 185. So both guys didn't really have to cut as much weight, which is interesting because I think because Anders used to fluctuate between 205 and 185. So I think having the fight at a catch weight of 195, I think it kind of helps him out a little bit better, especially with the strength aspect, because we know Weidman's probably going to try and mix in some wrestling as he fights. He does have the height and reach advantage. Hopefully, he doesn't poke this guy's eyes out. God help Eric Anders. He does. Eric Anders is strong, dude. He is strong. He could catch him. Weidman has been chinny in the past, so it is truly a pick'em fight. But I would say the pick'em is either Weidman by decision or Anders by KO. And if I'm a gambling man, you got to like that KO money. You got to like that KO money. I'm going with Eric Anders, bro, especially after all this Weidman glazing on the show earlier today with his moment being released. Eric Anders is going to knock this guy out. He's going to do it for Bruno Silva after the eye poke. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Calling the upset. 325. Cash it. I'm going with Eric Anders by KO. And guys, those 5 fights right there, just the early prelims. Ridiculous. That's main card level shit right there almost. That's fight night level shit right there. This could be a fight night main card. Easy. You just move some of these guys around a little bit. But this could easily be a fight night main card, bro. Especially with some of the ones they've put on in the past. That's yeah, let's not talk about 311. 311. I hope every single fighter that's scheduled there makes it to the fight, bro. Because if they do, without any injuries, everybody makes it, weighs in, everybody's good. That card is shaping up to be something epic to start off next year. It's going to be crazy. So that's the early prelims, ladies and gentlemen. Now we move to the main prelims. The main prelims. And our first fight in the main prelims. So this is a fight night this is a fight night main event. Bryan Battle versus Randy Brown. Yo. What a fight. There is something that needs to be said. Bryan Battle did miss weight by 4 pounds, yo. Not a good look. Not a good look at all. Especially because a lot of us are fans of Mr. Bryan Battle. It's not good to see him miss weight by that much. 4 pounds is crazy. Absolutely insane. He's definitely, I would say, he's probably definitely the more powerful striker in this fight for sure. If he connects clean with Randy, who has been chinny in the past, he could probably put him out for sure. But yeah, I don't know, man. Randy's definitely got height and reach. So if Randy plays it smart, stays at kickboxing range, doesn't really get into any slugfests, he could probably win this fight. He could probably win this fight, especially because he's probably a better grappler too than Bryan Battle. And yeah, I don't know. It's tough. It's tough, especially with that extra weight. Who knows how that helps out Battle in the grappling exchanges if they do grapple at all. But I do know that one thing that Battle lacks is his striking defense. He does leave himself susceptible to and open for counters a lot. And Randy Brown's a pretty good counter striker, so he can find some success in this fight. They got it right now as Randy Brown has a plus 155. Bryan Battle's favorited to win at minus 185. The KO for both men, plus 275 for Battle, plus 475 for Brown. They do not feel this fight is going to go the distance at minus 130. It's a tough one. It's a tough one. It's truly a pick'em here. It's truly a pick'em here. I would have liked it a little bit better if Bryan made weight. I know y'all didn't think the butcher would make weight. Oh shit, dude. Oh man. Oh man. It's tough. It's tough. It's tough. I hate the weight miss shit. It throws a whole wrench in picking the fight, you know? I mean, we rock with battle a lot. We rock with battle a lot, but I don't know, man. I don't know. Randy Brown looks pissed, bro. He looks pissed after the weight miss. And I don't know. I don't know. He definitely has some keys to victory here. So I think I'm gonna roll with the underdog and pick against Brian Battle. Sorry, Trey. Haha. My bad. I'm gonna go with Randy Brown, man. Came in professional with the weight. I think he's gonna be smart about it, keep his distance, stay in kickboxing range, look for his counters, and capitalize on Brian Battle's striking defensive, his bad striking defense. So next up. Wow. 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 Former champ on the prelims, guys. The disrespect is insane. The disrespect is insane. Aljamain Sterling fighting on the prelims against undefeated 18-0 Movsar Evloev. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. It's crazy, bro. How are you gonna put Aljo down here, bro, on the fucking prelims, dog? Insane. Insane. Come on, bro. But Aljo's going up against Movsar. Aljo's been looking pretty decent at 145. His new weight class after he left bantamweight to his buddy Marab. Movsar undefeated. Obviously, we know this guy's heavy grappling, takedowns all day. But is he going to be able to do that against somebody as good in the grappling department as Aljamain Sterling? So Movsar does have a slight reach advantage. Shouldn't really affect the fight too much. It's 1.5 inches. But yeah, this fight's going to be pretty crazy on the ground. And honestly, you guys know me. You guys know me. I saw Diego Lopez almost beat the shit out of this guy. And I'm a big strength of schedule person. In this matchup, Aljamain Sterling has the top strength of schedule. And Movsar has not faced anybody at the level of Aljamain Sterling yet. This is his biggest fight of his life. So it's going to be interesting to see how he handles somebody that is as skilled and as experienced as Aljo. With that said, I think his O is going to go. And I think Aljamain Sterling is going to win this fight. I'm going with Aljo as the underdog to beat Movsar Evloev in our second prelim fight of the night. Crazy shit, dude. Crazy, crazy, crazy. Next up, we got Luque versus Themba. Luque versus Themba. This is an interesting one because the last time we seen Luque, he did not look good. He was curling up in the ball after, like, we think he got injured or Buckley hit him with something, but we didn't even know because it didn't look like anything happened. And then, like, was he injured or not? Because as soon as the ref called the fight and Buckley got off him, dude popped up right away like nothing happened. So it was like, what the fuck happened to this guy? So it's kind of some question marks around Luque. You know, when we've seen him at his best, dude's been excellent. Excellent. Like, great finisher, crazy Darce choke. The submission game was crazy. But as of his last few fights, man, he's looked like either he was injured. I know he's had to deal with some kind of major injury, and he's gotten surgery, and he's gotten it fixed, and now they were saying that he's back up and running, but still, after going through stuff like that, you really don't know how the guy is going to bounce back in his first fight. Both guys are the same age, pretty close on the height. Themba's got 1.5 inches on the reach. Luque is definitely probably the more powerful striker for sure. And he probably throws more volume here in this fight as well. Doesn't shoot as many takedowns. Themba, though, does shoot a lot of takedowns. And that's going to be interesting to see if Themba does shoot his takedowns and try and mix in everything like he usually does. Is Luque going to try and sink in a choke or something as Themba tries to get this fight to the mat or, initiate a clinch or grappling or takedowns or whatever the case may be? Because he definitely does shoot for takedowns and he's pretty successful at getting them. So it'll be interesting to see. It's a pretty close fight on the line. Plus 140 on Luque, minus 170 on Themba. You could say Themba's probably a little bit faster footwork wise. I'd say Luque is probably more technical, especially if you're boxing or striking in the pocket. Definitely the more technical striker. It's a tough one to call. I do not think this fight will go the distance. I think I think Themba shoots in for a takedown or tries to initiate something and Luque sinks in a darce or a choke, bro, and gets back to submitting people because that's really his bread and butter, man. It's really his bread and butter. Let's just take a quick peek. Lost, yeah, that Buckley loss was so weird. Dos Anjos, and then he took a lot of damage in that Jeff Neal fight. That was the fight I think he got some like major surgeries and stuff after. He's been like a step slow ever since that Jeff Neal fight. Took some life off of his career for sure. Slowed him down big time. It was heavy damage in that fight. So it would be nice to see him get back in the win column. Themba, on the other hand, let's see what we got. Nico Price, Brahmaj. Yeah, I mean, he really hasn't fought anybody top level, Nobody top level. So it's a big step up in competition for him. He just has to make sure he doesn't make any mistakes. But I think Luque might make a mistake and might find a sub somewhere with that black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. So I'm going to roll with Luque as a slight dog to win that one. And then our main prelim of the night, Dominic Reyes versus Anthony Lionheart Smith. Lionheart Smith, baby. My man's got, was that 58 fights on his record? This is number 59. Holy shit. And he's been looking a little slower. Reyes has been looking good. I think taking time off for Dominic. We all were kind of questionable, like how is he going to look when he gets back? Hasn't been in the octagon for a while, but he came out his last fight. Was it against Jacoby? And he knocked him out pretty quickly. He looked pretty good, fast. So I think he's on the right trajectory versus Lionheart. Losing to, he lost to Roman, got that crazy sub. And he's always a threat to get a sub like that. But in this matchup, I don't know. It could happen for sure. It could happen. He could, that would be his only path to victory. One of those crazy Hail Mary like subs, I think. But honestly, I think like pretty much wherever this fight goes, based on what we've seen from Lionheart, great dude, love him. Like to hear him talk in his commentary podcast. He's got some good takes. But I just think, yeah, bro, with 60 fights on your record, man, it's tough. I think taking that time off for Reyes probably was the best thing for him to do. And now he's refreshed, rejuvenated, coming off a big knockout. He's feeling good. He's feeling confident, and I think it's gonna play out here tonight. Him sitting at as a minus 450. They like KOs plus 800. This must be wrong, bro. They must have this shit flipped. I think this is flipped. They got the wrong odds for Reyes. Because how is his money line minus 450? How's this guy? His money line is plus 325, but his knockout is minus 125. ESPN, you have a problem. Yeah, there's no way. That's some bullshit. That minus 125 is for Reyes for sure. For sure, for sure. And that plus 300 is probably for Reyes too. That's some crazy shit. But I'm going to go roll with Reyes, bro. He looked really good his last fight. And I think he's just going to continue that momentum. Keep it rolling. Keep it rolling. Now we're done with the prelims. To the main card. The main card. First fight of the night. Nate the Train versus Doohoo Choi. Should be a fun ass fight because these guys come out swinging and banging. Don't forget, get your 310s in the chat. We're gonna run this right after we talk about this fight card. And we're getting towards the end of the show, so make sure you hang around. Because if you ain't here, we're rerunning that bad boy. Nate the Train, Doohoo Choi. You know, honestly, this is going to be a really fun fight. It's going to be a lot of swinging. It's going to be wild. It's going to be wild. These guys come out to swing and fight and throw in the pocket and land haymakers and take haymakers. And it's going to be a fun-ass fight. It's going to be a fun-ass fight. If I got to pick one, I'm going to roll my boy Nate the Train. Got to roll my boy Nate the Train. Even though Choi's good. Choi's good. But this is literally like, should be the like if you searched up a UFC fight that resembles Rock'em Sock'em Robots, this should be that based on what we know about both of these gentlemen and how they come on fight night. You know what I'm saying? There should be a fight like that. And I'm ready to watch it, baby. It's going to be nuts, bro. I just think if Choi doesn't get Nate the Train out in the early rounds, bro, you know Nate is going to come that late second, third round. He's going to come with some fire. So it's going to be a fun fight to watch. I'm looking forward to it. I'm a little biased. I'm picking Nate the Train. But I'm excited for this one for sure. And there's a reason this fight is on the main card. Most definitely. This one I think could have got flexed to the prelims for something else because Bryce Mitchell Kron Gracie is essentially almost identical to Malvzar versus Aljo in terms of grappler versus grappler. I don't know why Bryce got the nod up here. Maybe just because he's a little wild. People like his wild takes. I don't know if he's that popular. It's a pretty big, huge spot for Kron Gracie, though, on the main card of a UFC pay-per-view. Last one of the year at that. So it's going to be interesting. But I've been reading a lot, dude. I've been reading a lot. And everybody's saying Bryce Mitchell better not go to the ground in this fight. But we all know Bryce Mitchell loves to grapple and wrestle and go to the ground. And we have seen people like Ilya Tapuria wreck Bryce Mitchell on the ground. So does he take his chances with taking Kron Gracie to the ground and, putting himself at risk to getting submitted by a world-class Gracie Jiu-Jitsu black belt? It's tough. It's tough, man. It's tough. It's a tough fight. And you got to think it's going to end up on the ground. And if it ends up on the ground, bro, I kind of like Kron Gracie getting a sub plus 1,300. I kind of like it. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to lie. Bryce Mitchell needs to stand and bang with this guy, but he doesn't like to do that. as you can see, Kron Gracie throws more strikes per minute than Bryce Mitchell. So yeah, man, I don't know. I think this one's gonna F some people up big time. I'm thinking Kron Gracie by sub, dude. I'm thinking Kron Gracie by sub, honestly. I'm thinking Kron Gracie by sub. If I'm wrong, I'll stand in that. But yeah, this got to go to the ground. It's got to go to the ground. Bryce Mitchell's not that good of a grappler or a striker, distance manager to keep this standing, and he likes to go to the ground. But yeah, man, I have a feeling this one's one of those parlay killers. Could be. It could be. Next up, monster fight here. Maybe Tom Aspinall's next opponent if John Jones doesn't fight him. Cyril Gane versus Alexander Volkov in a rematch from a couple of years ago. It's a tough one. It's a tough one because that last fight seemed like Gane was a little gassed out. It was a 5-rounder. This is a 3-rounder, so that should play a different factor in regards to the energy levels and managing the gas tank and stuff like that. I think it'll probably play in favor to Gane. Maybe he'll be a little bit more explosive off the get-go because I remember that last fight seemed like he was a little hesitant, conserving his energy because he knew it was a 5-round fight. So this time maybe he might come out the gates a little quicker, start throwing some of them kicks, you know. He is sitting as a big favorite, minus 400. But Volkov's good, man. Volkov's good. He's been looking real good. And I think it's a good fight at the right time for both these guys, based on, where they're both at in the division. Volkov, huge win against Sergey, bro. Huge win against Sergey. Everybody thought he was going to get murdered. And he came out there and did his damn thing, bro. Did his damn thing. So Volkov's been looking good. He's been looking good, and he's been on a tear. Only loss is to Aspinall in his last 5, which isn't too bad, bro. Can't really knock him for losing to Aspinall, right? And that was also almost 3 years ago. So these guys stay in the lab, I think. Volkov, man, he looks like he's been training, he's been doing his thing. Both similar in age, height and reach is, well, Volkov's definitely got the height, but the reach is in Gane's favor. It's a tough one, man. It's a tough one. It's a very close fight. I have no idea why it's minus 400 to plus 300. It's probably more of a pick'em fight that ends up maybe going to the decision. As you can see, they got Gane by points at minus 140, but yeah, I mean, the guys have fought each other before. It's interesting. It's an interesting fight. If I have to pick one, I think I'm just gonna go with Gane. I think the kicking is gonna be the big difference maker here. And Gane's gonna throw a lot of kicks. That's just my guess. But I'm gonna roll with Gane. But I honestly, it's definitely more of a pick'em fight. Yeah, it was by decision, but it was a questionable one. I think it was in Paris, and I think like if you look back at like the fight stats, I believe Volkov had more significant strikes landed than Gane. So they were saying like maybe it was, the Paris judges or some shit. I'm not exactly sure, but when I was doing my research, reading, that's one of the things that I did read. So, and it was 5-rounder, not 3-rounder. So that could change it completely as well. If Gane comes out swinging, throwing haymakers from the get-go, it could be a completely different fight versus how it was last time when he was a little bit more hesitant, reserved, gave up the first round and a half, 2 rounds to Volkov before he started putting it on towards the end of the fight. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting. But rematches are always interesting. But I think I'm gonna lean on Gane. I'm gonna lean on Gane getting it done. Our co-main event of the evening. for the number 1 contender spot in the welterweight division, Shavkat Rakhmonov versus Ian Machado Gary. Crazy fight. Crazy fight. Somebody's O has got to go. As we know, Shavkat undefeated. Think he's like, 50-50 with his subs and knockouts, with his undefeated record, all finishes. Ian Gary has been looking like a little bit of a wrestler his last few fights. Not going to lie. But he does give up some reach to Shavkat. Shavkat is a little bit shorter, but I think that's bullshit. Because if you look at, when they were facing off yesterday and the day before, these guys are damn near the same height, maybe an inch, not 2 inches. But they do give him a 2.5 reach advantage. Gary throws more volume, but Shavkat definitely mixes in the grappling, the takedowns better, and definitely goes for subs a lot more. We do know these guys used to be teammates, and we have heard stories that Mr. Shavkat has subbed Mr. Gary in the training room before. Granted, it is training. Most guys, who knows if they're going 100%, 80%, 50%? You never know. But Ian Gary seems like the type to go 100% all the time, based on how he talks, acts, and portrays himself. So honestly, I think Ian Gary gets his O taken away unless he just runs around the octagon the whole day. It's been nothing but a decision merchant the last 3 fights, talking a huge game about I'm knocking people out, I'm putting this guy's face on a shirt, I'm putting this guy's face on a shirt. And his fights really haven't lived up to his chatter. And I think that's really what kind of drove some fans away from him for the most part. It's because he was talking all this shit and not knocking people out. When Conor was talking shit, he was knocking people out. You know what I'm saying? But especially on his way up to the title versus, after you get the title and you talk shit, it's a different story. But yeah, on the way up, you're talking reckless. But MVP almost won that fight too. It was a good one. But yeah, after his last few performances, I kind of gotta lean on Shavkat, It's a real test for Ian. Yeah, it's a big one. It's a big one for sure. It's a big one for both guys. And yeah, if this fight gets into some grappling exchanges, it's going to be very interesting to see. And you could train with, Charles Oliveira's team and everything, but those guys have gotten submitted by, the likes of other people that train in different parts of the world. Maybe not Kazakhstan, but another Stan. And yeah, we'll see. It's a big test for Gary, but I think the Nomad gets it done and goes 19-0 and gives Gary his first loss of his career. I just think he can get hit in the face. That's one thing about Shavkat. His defense is not that good. Striking defense could definitely be better. But the guy is durable as hell, bro. He doesn't go down, doesn't get rocked. I've seen Gary get rocked by the likes of Michael Venom Page. Seen him got stunned by a few people. So Shavkat's like a zombie, bro. He just keeps coming. Doesn't matter what you throw at the dude. So I got to roll with Shavkat. And then our main event of the evening. Alexandre Pantoja, after he pretty much cleared out the entire division. Really no contenders out there. Just Kai Kara France, but they're like, we're going to go get another Kai. We're going to get you a different champion from a different promotion. Enter Kai Asakura. There's a lot of question marks around Kai Asakura. One thing, he definitely has size, very good size for this weight class. So he's a big 125er. 5'8". He's got a almost 3-inch, 2-inch reach advantage over Pantoja, and he's a exceptional striker. A lot of different stuff coming your way, punches, kicks. He's got it all in the striking department. The grappling department, on the other hand, not so much. And I know he's been beaten by wrestlers and grapplers before. I believe some of Pantoja's teammates have beaten him in Ryzen. And it's going to be interesting because another thing to note about Asakura is he has never done 5 rounds, and he's never been in an octagon. So this is his first fight in an octagon, and he's always been in a ring. And this is his first 5-round fight. He's never been tested, past 2 to 3 rounds. So it's going to be interesting to see how, and if this fight does go there, how he manages. It's all a lot of unknowns. And with all those unknowns, I have to kind of go with the surefire pick on this one, just because, I know this guy can scrap. I know he can punch, he can kick, and he definitely can land a shot to put Pantoja out. But Pantoja's super durable. He's fought the best of the best. He's taken some of the hardest hits from some of the best 125ers. And I just think, given this guy enough time, he's going to find a way to win this fight, whether it's by decision or he might find a sub if this fight hits the ground. But we'll see. We'll see. We'll see. But I'm liking Pantoja just because there's just a lot of unknown variables around Asakura, man. Never fought in an octagon. Does play a difference in, when you're wrestling defensively, trying to avoid different things. Never been in a 5-round fight. So that's another thing that I got a question mark about. And yeah, it's going to be huge. This is the biggest stage, UFC main event, his first fight. Some big time shit. So we'll see if he can live up to the hype and handle all the pressure that's on him today. And there's definitely a lot of pressure on Pantoja too, because this guy never been in the UFC, walks in on his first fight. You gonna let him take your belt? If he takes your belt, damn, bro, you lost to a Ryzen champ. It's crazy. It's crazy. Crazy. But with that said, I'm gonna roll with the cannibal, Alexandre Pantoja, the cannibal, to get it done. And that's the fight card, ladies and gentlemen. And with that said, we just got this little giveaway. The last one. That pay-per-view code. Don't forget to get your 310s in the chat. 310s in the chat. Don't forget to hit the thumbs up on the video for your boy. Appreciate you guys hanging out this morning, evening, whatever it is for you. We got poker later today. Don't forget you get your pick'ems in. It's going to be a good night of fights from start to finish. The card's stacked. Card's stacked. The card is stacked. It's going to be wild, and I'm looking forward to it, man. Some good fights. It's a good one. It's a good one. I'm going to give it another 20 seconds or so, and then we are going to run this, everybody. So, yep, good luck. Good luck, good luck. What do we got? Yeah, it is a wild-ass card, man. It is a wild-ass card. Everybody who's going down there, man, enjoy it. I know Strike's down there. I think they got a champ lounge today. Should be a good night down there for sure. All right, everybody, here we go. Good luck. God bless. Pay-per-view code goes to Nana. Houston time. Houston time, my man. Make sure you DM me. I got your Houston boy behind me, Derek Lewis. It's my guy, D. Lewis. Houston time, make sure you DM me to get you over that code. I appreciate you guys hanging out today. Don't forget to get your pick'ems in. The fight card's going to be starting in about 4 hours. We got poker starting in a few hours. Thank you all for hanging out this fine Saturday. And enjoy the fights, all. I am out. Peace.
The guy named Diddley had a dream so big it made him feel all giddy. He loved UFC, the fights and the thrills, so he started a podcast to share all the chills. Oh, Diddley's on the mic with the final strike, talking UFC, NFTs all night. From the octagon to the blockchain, he's got the hype. Tune in, listen up, it's the final strike. Break down the fights, every punch and kick. Analyze the moves, every trick and flick, comparing each fighter, their strengths and flaws. Diddley's insights would leave you in awe. Oh, Diddley's on the mic with the final strike, talking UFC, NFTs all night. From the octagon to the blockchain, he's got the hype. Tune in, listen up, it's the final strike. Break down the fights, every punch and kick. Analyze the moves, every trick and flick, comparing each fighter, their strengths and flaws. Diddley's insights will leave you in awe. Oh, Diddley's on the mic with the final strike, talking UFC, NFTs all night. From the octagon to the blockchain, he's got the hype. Tune in, listen up, it's the final strike. NFTs and fighters, a digital blend. Diddley's got the scoop, he's always on trend. From rare collectibles to the latest bout, the Final Strike podcast, there's never a doubt. Listeners from afar, they gather around for Diddley's insights, the best in town. With every episode, his fame would grow. The Final Strike podcast, the ultimate show. Even when the market's tough and times are lean, Diddley's resilience shines, he's always keen. Through highs and lows, he stands his ground. In the world of UFC, he's renowned. Oh, Diddley's on the mic with the final strike, talking UFC, NFTs all night. From the octagon to the blockchain, he's got the hype. Tune in, listen up, it's the final strike. Stream, bringing UFC and NFTs to the mainstream. With every word, he lights up the night. The Final Strike podcast, shining so bright.